Hey YouTube, this is Sean from Team Reco, and today I'm coming at you guys with a video, and I'm going to call it Wind-Ups in the Grind Game. What I mean by wind-ups in the grind game is when you're playing wind-ups, obviously, and you open with, say, a lackluster hand that isn't, totally, fantastic, and you can't loop with it. I actually love opening with these types of hands because it really makes me think of my plays. So I play smart, and usually I win when I have to play a grind game because I conserve my cards. I don't go crazy unless I absolutely have to or have a foolproof plan. And yeah, so I'm gonna get right into the video. This is say this is one of your a sample hand. This to me is it's a pretty good hand. I mean, you got your factory, you got some protection cards, and you got this, and this. Now see, opening up with this hand, say you only drew these two cards first. At the appearance, these cards look really bad because you don't really want these. You don't want this in your hand ever most of the time. And you only want this with a shark. Then you draw the rest of your cards and you get this. Now with Wind Up Factory, as I said in my other videos, Wind Up Factory is a great card because it allows you to fix your hand. So if I opened up with this, instead of immediately just trying to set the magician for a play next turn, which I see some players do, I'd summon the rabbit, activate the factory, set one back row because you don't want to get your opponent to +2 off of a heavy storm. Usually you want to save it. I'd set the torrential in this case because I don't really care if this gets space because I'm going to have a search with Wind Up Factory and then I can go off next turn. So what I would do is I summon Rabbit, remove it from play, and search for a shark. So at this point, basically my opponent is thinking, okay, he has shark, now he can go for a super spam play next turn. So they do their turn and whatever, and they just say they set two cards on their field, and say summon a monster and poke me. Now on my turn, I'm going to summon this and think to myself, I didn't torrential because, it was only one monster. You usually want to save your torrential for a plus. I have this in my hand. Now I could choose to go just flat out summon magician, reveal shark, and try to loop the remaining cards in his hand. But instead, I wouldn't do that because, first of all, you don't want to get hit by a torrential, and you don't want bottomless to be your enemy, or Veiler. There's so many cards that you don't want to have happen that it's best to grind it out and bait out those cards. So if my opponent set two cards, after I do my plays, which I'd probably just remove this and get another rabbit, because getting another rabbit is really good, because at that point when you have two rabbits, this torrential is so good. And then you can just set your bottomless trap hole and go off. So I'd search for another wind-up rabbit. And so this one was removed, and we have our torrential set. So we have this in our hand with... oh yeah, my bad. I set this by accident. That's your bottomless. So we have a field of Wind-Up Factory, our set torrential. They have a monster, and we have this stuff in hand. Sorry if it's all messy. I just... trying to just explain this to the best of my ability. So what I'd do is I'd summon this, wait for their response, and now if they have a warning or whatever, it's whatever because you still have this, and that means they just wasted a warning, which this is even more playable now. So that's really good. So basically you just summon that, they'd say okay, and you pass your turn straight away. You could set this depending on if you wanted to or not. I just wouldn't because it's not necessary. So say on their turn they summon another monster. At this point you play your torrential because you're gonna plus because your monster you remove your monster so it's safe. They have no more monsters, they use their normal summon, and you get a search. For this search, you could basically search whatever you basically want at that point. I might search another shark so I can make a tires or whatever, and then yeah, so that's going to be the first example. I'm going to wrap up the first example at that. Just like, this video is basically just to prove that you don't have to go crazy to like go win. Like, the loop isn't like your best option. So next I'm gonna do a different hand. I'm gonna flip that face down so you guys cannot see that. Oh wait, there are my other cards. I'm just getting ready the next couple cards for you guys. No. I'm sorry, guys. Just in a little intermission here. My cards got kind of spanned out, but here we go. You have these four, and then say you have not Pot of Avarice. That's kind of cheesy. So you have 6. You have these 6 cards in your hand on your first turn, but your opponent went first and set 2 cards on their field. Now, this is one of those hands where you're like, if I went first, I could have totally just won this game. Which, if they didn't have Valor, you could do. But now it's your turn, and you have to think of what they have. They have 2 set back row, a random monster, and then they still have 3 cards in hand. So you have to consider your plays. You could summon Magician, but that could get warnings straight away, and then you're like, ugh, okay. Then you're subject to like a lot of bad stuff. Or you could summon this and you could get Valored, but then you could play this. But again, your play could get screwed by like a Solemn or whatever. So you want to think to yourself, what is the most optimal play? Now, what I like to do is I like to always assume my opponent has either a Torrential or a Solemn, because that's just my luck. So what I would do you don't activate this ever straight away, because it's just gonna screw you up. Like, if I was gonna go for the Magician Shark play, which I'm not gonna go for in this certain situation, because with the 2 back row and the 3 cards in hand, it's a little more risky. So instead, I'd summon the Toriad. This is still in your head. Say my opponent decided not to Warning or Torrential, but decided just to Effect Valor me. At this point, I'm going to think to myself, either he's trying to bluff his 2 back rows, not both of his back rows, but his back rows just aren't very useful right now. I'm going to go Instant Fusion. Now, at this point, my opponent's like, I got him. So I have like a Warning, or I have like a Bottomless or a Torrential, and he's expecting me to go for a Zen Mighty play. So at this point, I would summon my Flame Ghost, then activate Wind Up Factory. Because instead of going for like the standard Zen Mighty play, I'm going to play it safe, and I'm going to go and summon a Wind Up Zen Maidens. Now, at this point, my opponent is thinking about either Torrentialing, or if he had a higher monster, I'd probably summon this in attack mode, depending on what matchup I was playing. But say he just has a defense monster, I play this. Now my opponent has to contemplate activating Bottomless to get rid of a card, then me blowing up something, or playing Torrential if he has like Sangan or something and needs that search. So at this point, this kind of makes my opponent think if they don't have like a Warning or something, because they don't want to give me a pop and a search, because that's just like really harmful to them. And then on top of that, I have Bottomless for like a little protection. So basically, if my opponent doesn't have Solemn, this play is really, really good. Because, first of all, he wasted an Effect Valor, which is crucial against windups, because he assumed I was going to go for the loop. Or he could have saved the Valor, and then I still would have gone into this. Because you can usually read your opponent's facial expressions to see what they have or not. And so, basically, this play is really good. Then, next turn, I could go off, go crazy. Doesn't really matter. I know this video wasn't like too in depth. You only got like 2 examples of what I do. I mean, if you open, I love actually opening with this, because I do some good plays with this. But I don't know. That's like a prototype of the wind up grind game. It's basically trying to show all you wind up players, or all you like haters of wind ups, that wind ups just don't loop. Like, I know wind up players the loop is, we all know that the loop is the best thing this deck can do, but this is just some examples of what you can do if you have the option of the loop, and it's a safer play not to go for it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys later.